इस कार्यक्रम के प्रायोजक हैं भारत हाट ऑनलाइन, आपका अपना संपूर्ण स्वदेशी। कुछ भी खरीदें, कुछ भी बेचें, यहाँ घर बैठे करें व्यापार, कमाई होगी अपार। आज ही अपना पंजीकरण करें, वो भी ऑनलाइन। भारत हाट .online। संपर्क करें MS सेल कारपोरेशन, गोविंदपुरी, नई दिल्ली। फोन नंबर है 9013666652।
नमस्कार, विशेष कार्यक्रम में आप सभी का स्वागत है। मैं हूं मानवेंद्र। जी हाँ दोस्तों, इंडिया क्लाइमेट चैलेंज वे फॉरवर्ड कहने की जरूरत नहीं है, और जिस प्रकार से बदलाव हो रहा है उसके बाद लगातार चिंताएं भी हैं, और इसी चिंता को ध्यान में रखते हुए द इन्वायरमेंट आपके लिए खास कार्यक्रम लाया है ताकि आप सजग रहें और कैसे इस पर पार पाया जाए। हमारे साथ कई गेस्ट जुड़ चुके हैं, आइए उनका हम स्वागत करते हैं। हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, जी हाँ दोस्तों, हमारे खास कार्यक्रम में सबसे पहले हम स्वागत कर रहे हैं जी हाँ निशेंद्र किंजक साहब को। सर, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। आप डायरेक्टर हैं इनोवेटिव इंडियन आइडियाज कंसल्टेंसी के। सर, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है।
थैंक यू।
देखिए, हमारे इस खास कार्यक्रम में किशन करुणाकरण जी जुड़े हुए हैं। आप CEO हैं बायोफ्यूल के। बायोफ्यूल के आज काफी इंपॉर्टेंस है। सर, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है।
नमस्कार, थैंक यू।
और हमारे इस खास कार्यक्रम में आशीष जैन साहब जुड़े हुए हैं। आप डायरेक्टर हैं इंडिया पॉल्यूशन कंट्रोल एसोसिएशन के। सर, आपका भी बहुत बहुत स्वागत है।
थैंक यू, नमस्कार।
हमारे इस कार्यक्रम में रुपेश कुमार भी जुड़े हुए हैं, लेकिन उनका वीडियो ऑफ है, लेकिन वो जुड़े हुए हैं। सर, आपका भी बहुत बहुत स्वागत है रुपेश जी। शायद उनकी आवाज नहीं आ रही। चलिए, और इस पूरे कार्यक्रम को मॉडरेट करने के लिए द इन्वायरमेंट के संपादक संजीव साहब जुड़े हुए हैं। आप एडिटर हैं, और जिस प्रकार से आपने जो चिंता जाहिर की है वो अति महत्वपूर्ण है, और इसी खास विषय पर आपका सबसे पहले हम स्वागत करते हैं इस कार्यक्रम में, और इस पूरे कार्यक्रम को आप मॉडरेट करेंगे। संजीव जी, आप खास तौर से दर्शकों से बात भी कीजिए और अपने गेस्टों से आप बारी बारी से उन्हें बुलाइए और इस कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाइए। जी संजीव जी।
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And welcome to all my guests. This is my first show, and I'm really thankful to you. You have sparing your time, important time for this important cause. So, the unseen impact of climate change are already being observed across the globe. Erratic weather conditions, sea level, melting glaciers due to the climate change are having an adverse impact on society in numerous ways. So, taking into account many challenges and idea to save the planet today, the environment is bringing you all here to discuss India's climate challenges and way forward. In view of this, today in our first episodes, we have an expert from different walk of life, working in different fields. They also have a different experience in terms of policy, initiative, reforms, and in terms of innovations and ideas. So give me 1 minute so that I can introduce my guest. My first guest is Mr. Ashish Jain, a founder and director of Indian Pollution Control Association. He established an NGO in 2001, which is working in the field of solid waste management and air quality monitoring and management. He is also working to create awareness of a sustainable environment. Welcome to the show, sir. My second guest, Mr. Krishnan Karunakaran, he's the CEO of Biofuel, has an experience of more than 12 years, and he has a proven track record as a biofuel entrepreneur. The Krishnan holds significant knowledge and experience in working with organizations and in helping them to plan and mitigate their energy needs to renewable alternatives. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the show. And my third guest is Mr. Rupesh. He's the CEO of EV Technologies, and he's looking after BD and government corporate affairs. He has vast experience in power sector also. And finally, we have with us Dr. Nishendra Nishanchal. He's the Director of Innovation India Idea Consultancy. Actually, Mr. Kenjakal wears many hats. He has an experience of 25 years in medicines, and he has also experience of issues of health related to the climate issues. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. So let me begin my first questions to Mr. Ashish sir. Ashish sir, how do you see the problems of the waste management in India, and what kind of steps needs to take at the policy or individual level to tackle this problem, sir?
See, waste management issue in India is a huge. We all know, and we all see in our daily life. It's not being collected on a regular basis. it's not being treated as recommended, and we have huge cry in the surrounding by each kind of stakeholders. And because of the mismanagement of waste, we see a lot of impact on our environment. Our soil is getting polluted, our water is getting polluted, our air is getting polluted. And just it's a summer time, and the waste which are being dumped at the dump yard or landfill site is getting fire also. So there are a lot of fire accident in northern region, because the ambient temperature is quite high, above 40 degrees Celsius, and under the anaerobic decomposition, methane gas released from the landfill, which get fires, and other material at the landfill site also gets fire and release very toxic gases into the environment, apart from the PM 2.5. So it's a very alarming situation. So we need to have some permanent and sustainable solution to manage our waste. And the basic things to manage our waste is the people participation, because the waste is being generated by the Aam Janta, general public, and if they need to bring behavioral change in their behavior toward the waste management, they need to segregate waste at source, and they have to adopt no to littering policy in their lifestyle. So till a common man do not participate in this solid waste management scheme, we can have a policy, we can have rules, regulations, we can penalize people,
Okay.
but we won't be able to achieve our goal to make India more beautiful and clean and green, and reduce the impact of waste management. So people participation is the key to have sustainable waste management. They have to bring change, and they have to adopt 5 years of waste management, being be responsible to reduce, reuse, repair, and recycle your waste.
My second question is, sir, do you think that the rapid urbanization and as the way per capita income is increased, but our municipalities and local bodies are not prepared to handle these kind of things? That's why we have facing these kind of challenges
See,
in the cities.
urbanization, yeah. So urbanization has contributed a lot toward the increased rate of waste generation, because
Okay.
when we grow, and when our income is growing, so our purchasing capacity also increase. So now with the per capita income increase, our purchase capacity has also increased. And when we purchase lot, when we go out for eating, and we purchase a non-essential thing also, definitely it leads to generation of more waste into the society. And somehow the we our entire system has not grown proportionally. So if you see the status of our urban cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, so maximum population live in these cities only. So there is a very dense population, density of population in the urban cities very high, and our systems, the civic amenity system, has not developed proportionally. So we are still using the traditional system of managing a lot of civic amenities, and the capacity of the civic amenities or civic bodies has not grown. They are having lack of financial resources. They have lack of technical resources, and the knowledge of rules, regulation, and policy, which are notified by the central government or the ministry at the centrals, has not circulated in a right manner to the grassroots people. So these are some
Okay.
gaps in our operations. So for example, we have very good policy or rules, solid waste management rule 2016, and it's
Okay.
already six year. These rule notified. We have rules for plastic waste management. We have rules for e-waste management. We have rule for C&D waste. We have rule for
Sure.
biomedical waste. So we have rules for every kind of things, and I think our rules are very good if we compare these rules with some other developed or developing countries. So
Okay.
policy wise, there is no gap, but the implementation of these rules at the grassroots level is definitely a matter of concern. And the poor enforcement of rule has a lot of reasons behind it. The one is
Okay, sir.
the involvement of multi stakeholders in the enforcement, and the interpretation of rule by different stakeholders is another concern.
Stakeholders.
And then lack of infrastructure, lack of awareness, lack of responsibility. So it's an area where we need to follow the aggressive approach, and we have to scale or we have to spread the density of. We need to develop more smart cities
Sure.
around the urban cities.
Sure.
So
Sure.
this
Sure.
is my
Sure.
view. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I can, now my second guest is Krishan Karunakaran. Hi, Krishan. You have a vast
Hi.
experience in biogas. Actually, thing is, this, government is now pushing the green hydrogen very much in its policy and all, and it's very important at a time when the India is committed to a net zero emission by 2070. My first question is this: how do you see this initiative of the government, and do you think that India will be able to achieve the target which the Prime Minister had recently talked about in COP26?
Actually, India can, because India is the third largest consumer of energy, and India is also the third largest producer of wastes. So, as long as we show the political will, the technological will, and the social will to ensure that these wastes get converted into fuels, then I think it's definitely possible. The green hydrogen policy or the biofuel policy or any of these, most of these renewable energy policies which have come over the last 6 to 8 years, or at least over the last 4 to 6 years, have been extremely thought provoking. The direction has been right. I think the implementation also has been in the right direction. India is looking to produce 5 million tons of green hydrogen by 2030. So that's
2030,
just
yes,
around 8 years down.
it is down.
And India is targeting a price of around $1 to $2 per kg for green hydrogen. So I think green hydrogen, bio CNG, and other various types of biofuels will play a very important role in India's energy mix. Even in the current budget, the Indian government mandated that 7% or 7 to 8%, up to 10% of coal has to be replaced with pellets in power plants. So these are direction. These are taking. These are policies in the right direction. In fact, with these kind of policies and implementation, only we'll be able to meet the target of net zero by 2070, and we'll also be able to ensure that we are continuously decreasing our emissions as promised by our honorable Prime Minister in the COP26. I think that's the right direction to go, and I think policy-wise we are in the right direction, and implementation has also been very good of late.
As an industry people, do you see any impediment, because this is a very nascent policy? Hydrogen, making hydrogen is also very costly. So how you people see all those things? Because government is promising at the policy level, but at the ground level you people are working. So how do you see this?
Let's see the evolution of biofuels itself. The reason why biofuels is today more accessible to people, cheaper to people, and available in plenty of quantities because of the technological evolution. The policy can only help, can help and give the direction, and can give a certainty in terms of for investments to be made in that sector. But it's the technological evolution that will make the fuel cheaper or make it more accessible to people, which has happened in biofuels. So various types of biofuels, whether we think about biodiesel, whether we speak about bio CNG, or whether we speak about bioethanol, or we speak about green hydrogen. All of these were much more expensive 1 decade back, 10 years back. The technology has evolved so much that they've become much more affordable, they've become much more accessible, their production has increased significantly, and so they're able to replace more fossil fuels every day. So going by that, I think the technology will evolve in such a way. I think you would have also read that various kind of electrolyzers are what people are developing in. And India is trying to indigenize technologies for electrolyzers so that we decrease our dependence on countries abroad for electrolyzers. I think that's the right direction by which it will become cheaper and more accessible and more affordable. Till then, I think policies only help you give the right direction for the movement. But it's the technology and the innovation and the technology evolution that will be very important to make it more affordable and accessible.
Thank you. Let's move to our third guest, Dr. Nishend. most of the people, while talking about all those things, CO2, zero emission and all, we most of the time we forget health, which is a very important part, and climate changes has impacting a lot of people. I have studied, yesterday that, WHO report suggested that by between 2030 to 2050, there is approximately 225,000 people additionally deaths per year due to the malnutrition, malaria, diarrhea. So, sir, in view of all this, how do you see, and what are the contingency plan that India need to take to tackle these kind of crises?
Uh, Mr. Sanjeev, thank you for inviting me here. I think it's not so simple an answer to this question, because what happens is, as you earlier said, that when we talk of health and healthcare services, usually it becomes important when a person falls sick, or whenever there is an epidemic or any havoc like we have seen for last 2 years, COVID-19. So that's the time healthcare system comes on the center stage. Otherwise, healthcare system is not in the priority list, at least not in the upper half of the priority list of any agency, the government, administration, judiciary, media, everywhere. So coming to your first question, that what are the concerns? When we talk of India and this subcontinent, the major concern is population burden. Second is illiteracy. Third is poverty. And then don't forget that whenever we are talking of healthcare delivery, most of the time we are concerned about healthcare delivery in the metropolitan cities, the second tier cities, or maybe in the towns. When it comes to the village levels, especially when we talk of the pan-Indian approach, say the North India, the Gangetic Belt, then you go to the hilly areas, then go to South India. So the requirements are different and the solutions also different. So unless we address these core issues, simply talking about health will not be very much fruitful and very much useful. So the crux of the problem is not centralizing. Number one, we should decentralize the services. Like whatever we are talking about, we must think that we are not talking about people sitting in Delhi, people living in Bombay, Mumbai, in the metros, in the towns. We must think about people who are living in the villages where proper drinking water is not there, the healthcare system is not there, the public health PHCs are not there. It augurs well here to talk about the recent WHO report that tells you that we had lost almost 50 lakhs of people. They have died due to COVID in India. This is the report from WHO. You must have seen 45 lakhs to be precise.
Sure.
The government of India has contested that maybe this is not correct, but whatever it be, this is the report of WHO. During COVID-19, what happened? Like initially you asked me, why is my hair not there? Because I lost my younger brother's wife in the wave of COVID last year. I have seen people dying because of COVID, and I'm a doctor, and I know what had happened. What had happened was it was a total collapse of public healthcare system in India. Why did this happen? Because we had not strengthened it. We had not thought about public health. When you talk of tackling malaria, malnutrition, the infectious diseases, all these are rampant in the rural areas. And this can be handled only by the public healthcare system. So, number one is you have to have a plan where you have an accountable general administration. Forget about medicine. General administration, number one, that should be accountable. Number two, you should have public healthcare system that should also be of good quality, with the services of connecting to the bigger centers with telemedicine. Number three, Number three, this care and these services should be accountable and should be of good quality.
Okay.
So I think this sums up about the issues we are facing. And when you come to the next question, I'll give you the details of some of the diseases, etc.
Sure, doctor. I think so. Rupesh sir is with us. Rupesh sir, are you here? Hello? I don't think so. Now let's go to our first guest, Ashish sir. I just want to ask you that, because the government is planning to ban the single-use plastic, by July this year. Most of the people are saying that, it's a circular economy. I don't think so. This is going to work in such a way, because without
Sorry, I lost your voice. Can you repeat your question? I lost you. So I missed your voice in between, but I think you are asking about the how we are prepared about the single-use plastic ban and enforcing single-use plastic ban at the ground level. So I would like to clarify one thing. So we are not banning all kind of single-use plastic. So Government of India has listed identified 19 items of single-use. हेलो
लग रहा है उनका नेट प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है संजीव जी का, और इसलिए आप शायद उनके प्रश्न को नहीं सुन पा रहे थे और हम भी नहीं सुन पा रहे थे। लेकिन वो जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने अपनी चिंता व्यक्त की है, उसमें जैसे वो जुड़ जाएंगे हम उनसे फिर पुनः आपसे बताएंगे। लेकिन आप अपनी बात कर रहे थे, आप अपनी बात को पूरा कीजिए। प्लास्टिक एक है, देखिए जुड़ गए हैं संजीव जी।
Ashish sir, my question is this, because plastic is really a very dangerous to environment. There is no doubt. And you have been a lot of experience to dealing with the single-use plastic in and around in Delhi. What are your point of view, whether we completely ban the single-use plastic or whether we need to create some sort of solutions to fight this problem?
So government is planning to ban 19 items of single-use plastic. So government are not planning to ban entire category of single-use plastic. First of all, they first define what is single-use plastic. So single-use plastic are those plastic which can be used once before it disposal to the dustbin. And out of all those items, they have identified some non-essential single-use plastic items. And there are 19 items which are non-essentials as per the government point of view, and which will be going to ban after 1st July 2022 will be the last date of using this kind of plastic. And I'm seeing this time the ban will be more effective at the grassroots level, because this is a complete blanket ban on these 19 items. So government are banning the manufacturing of these single-use plastic also. Earlier ban was not very मीन्स क्या कहते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छे से इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हो पाए थे। इससे पहले भी बहुत बार बैन आए हैं, बिकॉज those ban were partial ban. Few state banned, few states allowed those items, and those ban were not up to the manufacturing level. So those ban were up to the retailer, stockist, distributor level. तो उसमें इन्फिल्ट्रेशन होता था दूसरी स्टेट से, जिस स्टेट में प्रोडक्शन अलाउड होता था. बट दिस बैन इज applicable across the country, and government are not issuing consent to operate to the producers who producing such kind of items. Government are also monitoring the supplier of raw material to these kind of manufacturers. So they are not only focusing who are the manufacturer of single-use plastic, they're also monitoring who are the supplier of raw material to these kind of industries, and who are the buyer of these kind of products. And the all government machineries are involving in creating awareness, identifying the alternatives of these single-use plastic to reduce the impact of panic after 30th June, because we are so much dependent on these kind of items, and if these items are not available, would not be available after 30th June, then the government should be able to provide some alternatives. So each stakeholders, the state government, municipality, DM office, central ministries, all are encouraging the producers of alternatives of plastic, and they're also promoting self-help groups who are involved in the self-help groups who are into cloth bag manufacturing or the earthen pot manufacturers. So government are providing platform to promote their business. So it will be good for them also, so that the unprivileged people will get a lot of business opportunity by banning of these items, and definitely our plastic consumption will get reduced after this ban. So I'm very positive about this single-use plastic ban with respect to its enforcement.
Sure, sure, sir. Thank you so much. My question is to you. Are you getting my voice? Hello? Hello?
संजीव जी, आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रही है। आप थोड़ी सी पुनः अपनी रिपीट कर दें प्रश्न। आपके गेस्ट आपकी आवाज को नहीं सुन पा रहे हैं। संजीव जी प्लीज। संजीव जी, आपके नेट में प्रॉब्लम है, आप पुनः एक बार चेक कर लें। जी हाँ, चलिए हमारे पास साथ जुड़े हुए हैं किशन करुणाकरण जी। आप
हेलो।
सीईओ हैं बायोफ्यूल के। जिस प्रकार से प्लास्टिक का एक कह सकते हैं कि निश्चित तौर पर उन्होंने मसला उठाया है। जी संजीव जी, आवाज आ रही है? संजीव जी सुन पा रहे हैं? नहीं सुन पा रहे।
कनेक्टिविटी इश्यूज।
उनका नेटवर्क
Yes.
प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है। चलिए हम किशन करुणाकरण जी के पास आते हैं। जी किशन करुणा जी। जी जी
Krishan,
आ
I'm
रही है
just
आवाज?
asking you,
जी
yes,
ओके।
he's listening me now. Yes, I'm so sorry.
हाँ श्योर
Krishna,
श्योर।
I just want to ask you, as you said that India has set a target to meet a 5 million, green hydrogen by 2030. How realistic is this, at a time when India is already facing energy crisis? Our 70 to 60%, our electricity production depends on coal. So do you think that it is too early to, to over realistic? I'm talking about in that sense.
I don't want to judge on that because I think it's glad to have very aggressive targets on this. I think it's better to have aggressive targets than having very meek targets because aggressive targets will push us to run towards that more aggressively. So you would have heard that India has almost reached its 10% ethanol blending target this year. I think this
Yes.
month, which is a great achievement. So similarly, as in reaching 5 million tons of green hydrogen is an aggressive target, but nevertheless, it's a target that can solve the energy crisis for India. In fact, India is looking to become an exporter of green hydrogen going forward, considering that we'll
Yes,
be
of
able to
course.
generate significant amount of green hydrogen, more than most part of the world. So, considering that, it is good to have an aggressive target. So I'm still optimistic. Even if we are able to hit anywhere close to 70 to 80% of the target, I think that's a great achievement. I think that will be good movement in that time span. So 5 million tons of 2030, nice target to have, and I think it will be great if India can move towards that direction.
So government is also giving an incentive to the industries, PLI schemes. So what kind of opportunity more are you looking from the government if you achieve the targets?
So yeah, as in these are incentives which will help the sector move. I think we as a marketplace we depend on more and more supply coming into the picture. So more and more manufacturers starting to produce this particular fuel, green hydrogen, or whether it be bio CNG or any of these. It's only good for the environment because they are broadly manufactured from wastes and from green sources, and also help in decreasing the emissions significantly. India emits huge amount of carbon dioxide. India is the third largest energy consumer,
Third,
and as you rightly
exactly.
said, India consumes 70% of its fuel comes from coal.
Cool.
And one kg of coal emits close to 2.5 kg of carbon dioxide.
Correct.
So considering all that, India consumes 1,000 million tons of coal. So that's 2.5 times that. So we close to 2,500 million tons of carbon dioxide is what we emit when we consume 1,000 tons of coal. So considering all that, I think the direction is to have an aggressive target to move towards green hydrogen. So the policies are right. The policy of the PLI scheme for electrolyzers and the various schemes that India's the Satak scheme for bio-CNG, the RUCO to UCO biodiesel scheme for biodiesel, and the 10% mandate to convert coal to pellets. All these are in the right direction. I think these are the kind of policies that India needs to achieve and to become a leader in renewable energy and to be a leader showing the world the path towards fighting climate change.
Okay, thank you. Doctor, my question is to you. How do you weigh that, this just Ashish sir is mentioning that, government is taking a lot of initiatives in terms of pollution, control pollutions and plastics. Do you think that these kind of things is also impacting our health systems very aggressively because of waste and all those things?
Yes, Mr. Sanjeev. See, the environment has got a lot of issues like air pollution, water pollution, the irradiation or the radiation, atomic radiation. All these things have deleterious effects on the health. Like malnutrition is there, that has got various factors attached to it. When you talk of air pollution, there is one ingredient that's known as the noise pollution. So, because I've been a musician and I realized that noise pollution is causing havoc to general health, the cardiac diseases, the diseases related to central nervous system like dementia, learning problems, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, heart attack, which is known as the coronary artery disease, then all those diseases which are related to stress, they have got somewhere, they are all attached to pollution, where it is air pollution, noise pollution, and then we come to the atomic radiation and the water pollution. You have increased cases of cancer, you have increased cases of congenital defects, and lastly you have the learning disabilities amongst the children. So tackling the climate change or protecting the environment, that certainly has got a direct bearing with the health of the society.
Thank you very much. I think so. We have a nice discussion on this topic. This is the first discussion of the environment. I hope we will meet in the future also, and I can take your experts' point of view regarding the environment issues, regarding the waste pollutions. Thank you very much, Ashish sir, for being with us, sparing some time and enlightened us on this waste management issue. Krishna, thank you so much. You are very optimistic. I just crossed my finger because it's just an initial. We are just started, working on this hydrogen policy. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Doctor sir, for being with us. I hope we will meet next time very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
जी बिल्कुल, आप सबों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। लेकिन देखिए, दर्शक भी काफी जुड़े हुए थे, दर्शक काफी प्रश्न भी भेजने वाले थे, लेकिन चलिए हम इस चलते चलते एक बार प्रश्न एक आध ले लेते हैं कि आखिर इसका क्या है। सरकार पॉलिसी बनाती है, लेकिन ये लखनऊ से लिख रहे हैं रविंद्र सिंह। जी हाँ, रविंद्र जी का प्रश्न है और ये स्टेट व्यू से जुड़े हुए हैं। उन्होंने लिखा है कि सरकार पॉलिसी बनाती है लेकिन कंपनियां और जो भी फैक्ट्री है उसे नहीं मानती, और इस कारण से पॉल्यूशन अभी इस लेवल पर है। इसका क्या उपाय हो सकता है? संजीव सर, आप जिनसे चाहें उनसे इन प्रश्न का जवाब ले लें। एक ही प्रश्न है, उसका जवाब।
I think so. Ashish sir is, I think so, gone. I have with Krishna. Krishna, please tell us. You are very optimistic about the government policy and everything. They are saying.
हाँ, एक्चुअली मैं हिंदी में ही बोल देता हूँ क्योंकि आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी। ओके, स्पीक इन हिंदी।
हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स डेफिनेटली।
तो हाँ, वो ऐसे है जो आई थिंक वो प्लास्टिक के पोल्यूशन के बारे में उन्होंने पूछा है कि कंपनियां फॉलो नहीं करते हैं और कंपनियां वो सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक्स और डिफरेंट प्लास्टिक्स को यूज करना कंटिन्यू करते हैं। बट जैसे आशीष जी ने बोला था कि अभी वो प्लास्टिक्स ही नहीं, जो उसको रॉ मटेरियल दे रहे हैं उसका भी मॉनिटरिंग हो रहा है, और उसका भी रेगुलेशन हो रहा है, जो सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक्स के रॉ मटेरियल सप्लाई कर रहे हैं, तो उस हिसाब से इफेक्ट होगा। ऐसा नहीं कि सारे कंपनीज फॉलो करेंगे, हो सकता है कुछ कंपनीज और कुछ गवर्नमेंट्स में थोड़ा लैक होगा उसमें, बट अगर मैं जैसे बोलता हूँ कि अगर हम 70-80% तक उसका पालन कर पाते हैं और उसका पॉलिसी का डायरेक्शन सही है, तो आई थिंक वी शुड बी हैप्पी। तो अगर 70-80% भी मीट करते हैं तो अच्छा ही होगा, आई थिंक सबके लिए अच्छा होगा।
जी जी, चलिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद डॉक्टर किशन जी, आपका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। आप सीईओ हैं बायोफ्यूल के, आपने समय निकाला हमारे इस खास कार्यक्रम में जुड़ने के लिए। निशेंद्र कंजुलकर सर, आप डायरेक्टर हैं इनोवेटिव इंडियन आइडियाज कंसल्टेंसी के। सर आपका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आशीष जैन साहब चले गए हैं, लेकिन उनका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। रुपेश जी जुड़ नहीं पाए, लेकिन पुनः हम आशान्वित हैं कि अगले कार्यक्रम में निश्चित तौर पर जुड़ेंगे। और इस पूरे कार्यक्रम को संशोधन करने के लिए संजीव कुमार जी का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। आपने इन्वायरमेंट पर चिंता की, बहुत कम ऐसे वेबिनार होते हैं, और हम कहेंगे कि फिजिकली आप कार्यक्रम करें और इन सबों को इन्वाइट करें। द इन्वायरमेंट जो आपका ये खास तौर से आप उसके एडिटर हैं, और फिजिकली कार्यक्रम करें, दिल्ली में करें और पूरे इंडिया से लोगों को बुलाएं और इस पर एक खास तौर से अपने अपने विचार रखें, और उसमें जो अच्छे कार्य करते हैं उन्हें पुरस्कार भी देने की आप कृपा करेंगे तो निश्चित तौर पर इस पर लोग सजग होंगे और उसमें दर्शक भी आएंगे। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप सबों का।
थैंक यू।
थैंक यू। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर। जी हाँ दोस्तों, हमारा ये खास कार्यक्रम था और जिस पर हम खास चर्चा कर रहे थे। जी हाँ दोस्तों, हम आपको बता दें कि हम समय समय पर आपके लिए ऐसे कार्यक्रम लेकर आते हैं ताकि आप उस कार्यक्रम में से साथ जुड़े, और आपके प्रश्नों का हमें इंतजार रहता है। आप जिस भी प्लेटफॉर्म से वहां से सीधे प्रश्न भेजेंगे, आपके प्रश्नों का जवाब भी मिलेगा। जी हाँ दोस्तों, हम ये कार्यक्रम आपके लिए लाया द इन्वायरमेंट। बने रहिए हमारे साथ, हम आपके लिए और भी तत्कालिक खबरें लेकर हाजिर होंगे। नमस्कार, शुभ दिन।
इस कार्यक्रम के प्रायोजक हैं MS सेल कॉर्पोरेशन। सभी तरह की गारमेंट, मास्क एवं PPE किट एसेसरीज जैसे इलास्टिक, बटन, लेस, कोटा, बेंच कॉर्ड आदि एक्सपोर्ट क्वालिटी के लिए संपर्क करें। MS सेल कॉर्पोरेशन, गोविंदपुरी, नई दिल्ली। फोन नंबर है 9013666652।